morning, everybody. Whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world, this is Coast to Coast. Got Cam in the house. Mariners beating up on the Phillies. Like, this is, it's a good morning.
Yeah, the Mariners. How about that? The Mariners are in their playoff push right here.
Oh, man, let's calm down. Let's calm down.
Okay.
As I was saying just before I came on here, or just before we went live, I can't speak for it. I don't know what it is up in the water over there that creates Seattle beating Philadelphia, but it's a consistent thing. I mean, I will say that the Eagles haven't won a game against Seattle in, I almost want to say, since before the turn of the century. I think
when's the last time they played Seattle? When's the last time they played Seattle?
I can't remember them playing Seattle. You guys a couple years ago, we lost both games 17-9.
Yeah, he made Drew Lock look all world.
Yeah, well, that was the game. That was I was out in Seattle for that. And the last 2 minutes of the game, he became Joe Montana, walking the team down the field to win the game. That was a Monday nighter. I think I might remember that game. So he's the reason that the Phillies are the Philadelphia Eagles are the reason Drew Lock's still in the NFL. Is that what I'm hearing? Well, that game. I don't know. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, either.
Yeah, I remember the 40-8 game where you guys had 87 yards of total offense and scored 40 points on us. That was a Monday night game, and I won't ever forget that because it started snowing. I come out to my car and my truck was broken into. So that was all great, and that was
a bad day all around.
That was Veteran Stadium days. But I want to say for real, I think that the Eagles have not beaten the Seahawks since the turn of the century, since I think '98, and
it's been a minute, yeah.
Yeah, and I know that the last time we played up in Seattle, I was there, and Seattle won 2 of 3. The Phillies did win a game, and and there was no more chicken in Seattle after I got some. I do remember that.
That was
all the chicken in Seattle was gone.
I don't know if I even want to touch that one.
No. It was actually very funny. Like it was.
So they don't get many super fans, I guess, in Mariners where the Mariners play. No. And being a super fan, I show up and I wanted to get a little bit of some chicken and some fries. And the next thing I know, they gave me like Purdue.
Yeah, like
all of Purdue. Like 4 pounds of chicken. We fed a whole bachelorette party.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yeah, 42-0. I remember that. I know it was ridiculous that one time.
Yeah, 42-0. Yeah.
Yeah. The 40-8 game, but it's been a long time. And like I said, the last time you guys were here, we swept you. So we swept Seattle out of here.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like that this is maybe retribution from that time.
So 2008. 2008 is the last time you guys beat us. 26-7. And that was here in Seattle.
That was the year we lost to Arizona. Arizona wound up going to the Super Bowl against Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
So what do you guys think the big story of the preseason is? Is there a big story?
Other than
is it Shedeur Sanders? Is it the quarterback controversy in Cleveland? The quarterback controversy in Minnesota?
I think it's York.
It's York over your guy. I don't know. That's a big deal. He's gonna get the same treatment that your guy Kraft got, isn't he?
Oh, nothing's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big deal. Big deal.
You know what?
I'm surprised he even made the news. With him being in Cleveland and you know what? He sent some text messages, freaking text messages.
It was a sting, man.
So how about this?
Well, I mean, but they lured him into it. It was kind of a lure. They lured him into it. I mean,
it's always. It's always going to be a little bit of coercion there. But I actually want to jump away from that for a second. I want to hear your interest in this, Cam. Players interested in going back to college.
Oh, come on.
That's it's a thing now, right now.
Yeah. No,
I mean, you got courts jumping in for injunctions and rulings being made and stuff like that. I think that's a real thing.
Ridiculous. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Anybody with some common sense could say, once you leave college, you cannot go back to college, and let alone play competitive sports. I mean, that's I don't know what kind of degree, what kind of courts, what kind of lawyers you need involved. That's ridiculous. Come on, come on, cut it out. This is
I understand.
Annoying.
I agree.
I don't blame. I don't blame the coaches. I don't blame the coach at all. Kiffin. I mean, this is one time you can't really get on Kiffin. I mean, I'm following the rules. This is what the rules allow. And I'm just doing what I'm allowed to do. As the same thing. I had this conversation just last night. Just as what's my name? John Snyder said a week and a half ago, I'd be doing a disservice, or excuse me, I think it was Mike McDonald said, I'd be doing my team a disservice if we don't explore every opportunity, every avenue to get better. When they were talking about bringing Terry and Arnold, you can't be mad at the logic of what Kiffin is trying to do, but it's absolutely preposterous for any adult in the room to allow this to happen. Kudos to the Big Ten for coming out and making a law, or making a ruling, an injunction. No, you cannot go play professional sports and then come back and play in the Big Ten. Right. Let me ask you this question.
Would they have a rule for that? Hold on. Just let me address that piece.
Can I finish? Can I finish my point? There's
a rule for it. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead.
There's an amateurism rule. There's an amateurism rule that they're ignoring now. So you're just watching NCAA become pro sports. But that rule exists. They just have to enforce it.
So if that rule already existed, why did the Big Ten just make the announcement or make the injunction that no player can go sign in the NFL and come back and play in the Big Ten?
Because now judges are getting involved and judges are siding with the kids. And I agree with you. I feel like, first off, the moment that you make the decisions to, like, if you want to go into the draft and you get drafted by a team, that was a decision you made, and because of that, you have to follow through. You're done. You are done with college sports. You no longer are able to get any NIL money. That's what they're going after now. They're going after the NIL money. And
well, I mean, I think the NIL money is still going to be there, but I think the issue, I wouldn't say once they get drafted. I think I like the rule in the NBA where the players can get drafted as long as they didn't sign an agent. They didn't perform. They didn't start playing for the team except salary from the team. But the NBA, if the player could come out and instead they can get drafted number 7. Well, he wants to go back to school so he can get drafted number 1. I kind of understand that logic. He didn't go to college. He didn't go to the NBA. He stayed in college. He just wanted to test the waters and see where he stood. I'm okay with that. If they put their name in the hat, or somebody, the lineman from Alabama puts his name in the hat, he ends up going in the 6th round, not the 2nd round like he suggested. He has another year eligibility. Yeah, let that kid go back to school. He was a junior. Let him go back to school, have another year, and improve his draft stock. But if he gets drafted and goes to camp and is collecting money, now I don't. There's no coming back at that point.
Right. So let me ask this question: where does that line in the sand get drawn? And the reason why I ask that question is because, all right, so you have a guy who gets drafted now in the 6th round, and he decides at that point, after the team has chosen his name, that he's going to go back to college because he didn't like getting drafted in the 6th round. So now that team
totally cool with that.
that
I'm
chose
totally cool
him,
with that. Yep.
I see. I'm not cool with that because now the team gets beaten. They get screwed out of that
draft pick. Yeah, sure.
Out of that draft pick because the kid who's like, oh well, I'm gonna stay here because I don't know that I can actually make the team now because I'm a 6th round pick.
If he got drafted in the 6th round, and did not go to camp, did not collect any money, I'm totally fine with him going back to USC, going back to Butler, going back to Penn. University of Penn. I'm totally okay with that. If he collected money and he participated in training camp, now I think that's the problem. I hear what you're saying. That's kind of a risk the team has to take. I mean, you have to, in the interview process, you kind of got to, do you want to go back to school? Is school of interest to you? I think you kind of got to vet some of that in the interview process. I understand the issues with what you're saying, but I think the player, like, if you go on a job interview and you go to the job interview at McDonald's, you want to be the manager at McDonald's in the Philadelphia, and they call you down. That don't mean, because you go on an interview, don't mean you have the job. And then they finally call and say, okay, Pax, we're going to hire you. We're going to run. You're going to run our Northeastern District. Now you have the opportunity at that point to say yay or nay, but you didn't collect any money, so you weren't on their books. So you could say I thought about it, guys. I just rather keep doing this commentating. This is where my passion is. I don't think you have that right to make up your mind unless there's money involved. Once there's money involved, I think is a problem. That would be my line of demarcation. Is once money transfers hands, then you're a professional.
Well, and the rule that, first off, to go back to what Bo is, the rule you're thinking about, Bo, is actually an Olympic rule. It's not an NCAA rule. The Olympics, before this all became a thing, said that if you got paid to play, you were not able to enter the Olympics. I believe that the NCAA doesn't have anything in writing because that's why the SEC had to say something about it, and also the Big Ten.
So wasn't that changed though when the NBA start using, or they start
100%? It's all changed now that you're allowed to be a professional.
Yeah.
They went more with you have to just be the best in the world. So they changed the way that became. But
so the NCAA does have an amateurism rule. It doesn't explicitly say that you can't go to the top league, but it does have some guidelines about when you become a professional, it eliminates your eligibility. Now, because it's the NCAA and they do go out of their way to do everything incorrectly, they ignore a lot of stuff, right? And so this is where we're at. But I mean, there are rules in place that they could have stopped this before it ever happened. That being said, it doesn't even matter because you have the NIL and you're essentially pro sports at this point anyway. So, I mean, it's one of those, like, how much tradition do you want to keep, or do you just say, hey, you know what, let's go ahead and just make the 2 super conferences and it's pro sports now and keep it pushing?
Yeah, we're not far from that.
Well, the tradition of a lot of these schools has gone anyway because there's been conference realignments and all of
this.
The
rivalry is gone, yeah.
So, I mean, so much of what made college sports it's unique in its own way has slowly been dying anyway. So
Pags, you're Philly. My understanding of the Northeast, correct me if I'm wrong. Colleges there, while there's a wealth of colleges out there, college sports is not huge out there, and I'm sorry,
not in the city of Philadelphia. The big
not
thing,
New York, not New Jersey. I don't understand. That's kind of confusing. It's confusing to me in a sense why they're not as big, considering the amount of people.
Any of the cities any of the cities that have multiple teams, the college impact is less.
So I would just say professional sports has been around for too long. For instance, the big thing in college in Philadelphia is the Big Five, and that's a basketball tournament. Now, I will tell you that it used to be, and this is, again, before even LeBron getting here, it used to be that college basketball ruled the city more than the Sixers. And that was due to...
help me out. I know there's Brown out there, but Brown's up north. Isn't
Brown's
Brown in
New York? So for instance, the top 5 schools in Philadelphia that used to play was LaSalle, St. Joe's, Villanova, Temple, and Penn.
Okay.
And Temple used to be a
all
powerhouse.
Those are basketball. All those are basketball schools.
Yeah. St. Joe's was a good name. Villanova won national championships. It's like, so there are, and then Penn was always really good in the Ivy League. They were always getting into the tournament and winning a couple of games, not really going far. They weren't a Sweet 16 team, but they would get, past one game usually. And, then there was LaSalle, who was better back in the day. LaSalle won national championships back in, I think, the 50s and 60s. So that's how they became, and that's how basketball kind of grew here. When the Warriors left Philadelphia, and the Sixers, they had to figure out what to do to bring basketball back to Philly, and they gave us the Syracuse Nationals, and combined with us the Virginia Squires of the ABA. That's how we got Julius Erving, kind of. You know what I mean? That was when basketball finally came back. But until then, college basketball ruled Philadelphia. College football has never really been a thing here. I
wasn't talking about Philadelphia. I was talking about the whole Northeast, New York and New Jersey included. It seems like it's all the same. I never considered the as you mentioned, Bo, the cities with 2 sports teams kind of cannibalizing those fans.
Well, specifically pro sports. When you are in cities that have all the pro sports, college sports is always a lower tier. When you get into places that they don't have professional sports, or they might have a sports team, college sports is always huge because it's all they got.
Well, I understand that. I understand that simple logic. I would have just thought college sports, for the simple amount of people in the Northeast that actually go to college after high school, like that, the traditional route. Why college sports isn't bigger up there? That was just a question that I personally had, not anything.
And so to kind of speak to your point here, once you get out of the Philadelphia region and you get even out of the Pittsburgh region, although Pittsburgh's a little different because
Pittsburgh is smaller. It's a smaller city. Pittsburgh is a smaller city.
A lot for their college, so Pitt, does fill that stadium. But Penn State is the big college football team in the state of Pennsylvania. And everybody from the state goes and converges on Happy Valley for a game. That's why it becomes the 3rd largest city in the state every Saturday that the Nittany Lions play at home. There's more people. In fact, you could say that there's sometimes more people in Happy Valley than there is in Pittsburgh. And that might be a little bit of a stretch. I think there's 500,000 people in Pittsburgh full time. You know what I mean? So it's, but
yeah,
I mean,
but to answer your question, I think the players should be able to enter the draft. If they don't take any money, they don't sign any contracts, they should be allowed to go back to college. But a lot of players don't have, there's a select few players who have that option because they're coming out as a junior. And they do have eligibility left. So there's a lot less players that I think we'll see this a lot less. And isn't this situation just for this 1 year? Because some of these players had that extra year.
The 2022 year. Yeah, that's the question mark here.
Yeah, so like next year, this won't even be a thing because we'll be past that, right? So it's certainly an odd situation.
They'll get the 5th year of eligibility if they work it the right way. They have to do it correctly all the way through. So if they start in 23, if they started in 23, they don't get that COVID automatic fifth year spot. And that's what's creating some of this drama. And the NCAA is saying, hey, the judges are saying, hey, since the NCAA made this rule, they live and die by the sword. And I agree what you're saying, Cam, that no. I also think that there should be, I'm going to step a little bit further into the rule of what you're talking about here. I feel that if you're going to have to put a line in the sand, if you are a Saturday draft pick, you have the ability to go back. If you're drafted, and I'm talking for football, if you're drafted on Thursday or Friday, and that's the first 3 rounds. So now I'm saying from round 4 down, you can make the option. So if you're a Saturday pick, you could decide before you do that you want to go back to college, then that's what you're going to do before you take a dime of any money. I think if you're drafted in the first 2 days, if you're drafted on Thursday in the first round, you're probably going anyways. If you're drafted in the second or third round, you are now forced into that issue. So if you didn't get drafted in the first round, you have to pull yourself from the draft so that you're not creating a situation where you get drafted and a team gives you a pick of worth, and then you decide after the fact that you don't want to play now, you're going to go back to college. And I think that's because there's an actual value to those picks. Not that there isn't a value to a 4th round pick. I get what you're saying. I think you're trying to protect the organization now from themselves. And the organization needs to protect themselves by doing some homework. Now, if they have this kid from Philadelphia who really likes it at Cornell, he really enjoy it, but he will go. He's interested in going to the NFL as well. That's one of his dreams. Where are we gonna take this guy? I mean, we gotta kind of talk to him and talk to his family and see where his head's at. I think that's a legitimate risk that the teams picking in the rounds 1, 2, and 3 should have to kind of deal with. If they don't take any money, they should be able to go back. I really like that rule in the NBA where they can get drafted. If they didn't thought he was a 1st round draft pick or, a number 1 draft pick, he get drafted number 7. Obviously in the NBA, that money's a little different. If he wants to go back to school without taking any money, he should have that. He should have that ability.
I mean, I kind of agree with Dan Lanning where he's like, hey, this is tough for the kids that are trying to come in, because if one of their prospects leaves for the draft and then decides, hey, I'm coming back, it disrupts the teams as they're trying to move on to the next talent also, because, if you got an NFL caliber guy that like the school is going to bring him back, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're trying to win. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden it disrupts everything that they've done. They might end up with kids that, were coming there.
Some recruits.
Yeah. So like it creates so many issues, and there's like 8 players that are looking at being able to do that this year, which, crazy enough to have one of them. Right. There's a bunch of them. So it's,
it's a loophole that's open. I just don't, my understanding is not going to be open next year, but I'm not mad at the colleges. I'm not mad at the players for trying to make that determination either. Ooh, this NFL is tougher than I thought. I can go back to college and make a couple mil, and I'll be a little bit more focused next year. Their Pags is that's your point where now I don't know where the guy was drafted. I don't know where the guy was drafted from Ole Miss. He went to Cleveland. I don't know the draft pick, but then he didn't make the team and they cut him. Now he should be able to go play college football after he gets cut in the NFL. Probably not. But if he has eligibility left, it's real difficult to say that this this 20-year-old kid who played 3 years of college ball got cut from the NFL. Now he can't go. He has to go work at McDonald's, or he has to go work at the car wash, because he can't go take this money that LSU's offering him, $1.7 million to go play tight end down there. He can't take. That's a tough one, Pags. I don't know. That's a tough one, man.
Well, and what makes it tough is the fact that you're making money in college now. So then you're looking at, okay, well, what's the difference? You were getting paid to play either way. And that's why I say, like, the tradition of college sports is gone anyway.
It's gone. This is pay for play. Yeah. This is pay for play. So
because
we got to start looking at it differently.
Well, that's the thing is, because it is pay to play, does it even matter anymore? Because now it's pro sports. So now you're just looking at a different league. That's no different than being like, you know what? I didn't make it in the NFL. Let me go to the UFL. I mean, at this point, you're getting paid to be on the field. The tradition is getting stripped from college anyway.
It screws those high school kids, like you're saying. For sure. It screws those high school kids. Now this guy, he thought he was going to come and be Penn State's, starting guard. The guard gets drafted and says, "Nah, NFL's tough, man.
Not to go." Yeah, exactly.
NFL's tough, man. Now he comes back.
Jeff, I would agree if the UFL was bigger. So that's the biggest issue there is there's only 8 teams in the UFL. So you're not going to be able to do that as the developmental league that we all thought that it could be when the two leagues were coming together, because you're like, oh, it's going to be 16 teams. Like, that's going to be big enough. Instead, they bring the two leagues together, then they dump half the teams. And you're like, well, that didn't really help anything.
I was just going to ask if it made sense for the NFL to invest in the USFL, but no, it doesn't, because they have to call it football. They have to call it football, which they don't have to do anything. There's no investment they have to make. So,
well, they do, because they test rules there. So they do use it as a developmental league now, whereas before, when the UFL,
the UFL,
USFL, all of those, they wanted to crush them early, in their first iteration. Now the NFL is so big, they're like, yeah, we'll try stuff out in your league.
Yeah, try this out. Let's yeah. I don't know. It's a weird state of the world right now, Pax.
Hey, listen, it ain't going to get any easier or better. You know what I mean? This is all going to be, because ultimately that's the next thing that I think that you're going to start to see is that the kids are going to start coming out of high school. And if they're not ready to go into like any college programs to be able to get any NIL, that they are going to go into like these feeder programs to the big colleges. That's what's next in this mix.
Well,
guys
that's already happened.
Well, I know that there is.
The guys going to the school, the IMG Academy. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I really like to do a deep dive on some of those numbers. I don't know what their success rate is. I don't know what their dropout rate is, but your guy Bryce Harper, I think he was one of the what is the word? Pioneers of just focus on your sport and just ignore everything and focus on your sport and become a pro player. Is that I don't know. There's some. It seems like there would be. I'm not a parent, but it seems like there would be some ethical issues involved with that. And just saying, from the 13 years old, my guy is going to be a professional baseball player, and that's all we're focusing on. I think that's a little short-sighted. Kudos to Bryce Harper for getting there.
It's interesting that you're putting it that way. And on topic, kind of a little side vent to this. So, for instance, they came out with the different programs in the United States that are best suited for youth soccer going up and that are deal with big clubs. And the Philadelphia Union was number one, which is not to be like the Philadelphia do have the best program. So what happens is, and it's exactly what we're talking about here, except that they include the curriculum of regular high school, but it is soccer all the time. It is absolute soccer all the time. And the curriculum is focused around soccer. So for instance, you're taking a physics class. Your physics class is based off of soccer mentality. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's a parabola is when you kick the soccer ball and it goes up in the air and comes back down again. That's a parabola, and it's how much force you need to get to make certain things and stuff like that. So that's focused all on soccer. Now, that being said, you have guys now that are, they have Kevin Sullivan, who was at 14 years old, signed a contract with Manchester City, I think it is, at 18 years old, he's going to be playing soccer over there. And that was at 14 years old, and the Union get to keep him all that time until he's done, because he gets to go through that program and that curriculum and such like that. They have, like I said, they have this fantastic facility. The kids are doing soccer all the time, but they're also doing schooling. If that's the way the program is set, then I am okay with it. If you are going through a learning process. Now, listen, I know most of these guys going to college now are taking underwater basket weaving, and there ain't even a pool on campus. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm, know that these guys are coming out with major degrees. If you want to go learn, you're going to go learn.
Your guy Matt Liner did ballroom dancing. Anybody gonna complain about Matt Liner going back to University of Southern California to enjoy his senior year in school and taking ballroom dancing because he did in the previous 5 years everything else? I'm not mad at that kid.
I don't care what he does. If he wants to go back to school, and listen, there are a lot of college players who go to the NFL and then go back to college to finish their degree.
Sure. Kudos.
And that's because it makes sense to them. They have gotten now the real world experience and understand that the degree actually is going to mean something to them. And they go to learn the things that they need to learn to be able to be fruitful in life. Mm-hmm. Now, does that happen all the time? No. Is that every kid? No. Basketball is probably the worst examples of that. Where they go and play one season in college and then they go to the NBA and they don't look back. It's like the truth of the matter is that the NBA should be very big on making sure that every team teaches like a finance class, but they don't care because it doesn't matter.
They don't care about that.
Right. They don't care how the guys spend the money, but I'm just saying that that's one of the situations that you hear about all the time is that, NBA players most of the time who are from 6 to 12. And when I mean that, the on that part of the bench, leave the NBA and they have needed to go back to college because they have to figure out a way to be able to make money outside of the NBA.
No, I don't think it's that 6 to 12 guy. It might be that 1 through 5 guy. Is still.
It could be that too. I
think it's that 1 to 5. I think it's more those 1 to 5 guys. But that's an interesting topic.
The NFL
what is the responsibility of the professional leagues to teach these guys like life skills, money management? Is that the league's responsibility, or is it just kind of?
So the NFL does have one, and we got to have one of the coaches on our show a while back. Unfortunately, it's just internationally, but the NFL Academy is, in the UK, and it essentially is a high school that is gearing you for football. Like that is exactly what it is gearing you for American football, and it's a high school, and they collect kids from, I think it was like 22 different countries, and get them ready for colleges to, get scholarships and drafted and all of that. So, some of it is out there.
Yeah, that's I know this in Europe. If you're going to be a doctor, or you're going to make I can't think of the name, optometrist to make eyeglasses. You learn that at 12, and 12 to 14. That's all you're doing is learning and studying about making eyeglasses. That's your path, your chosen path. That's what you're going to do. So when you come out and graduate high school, or if you go to college, you're going to college to learn how to run your optometry business. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a bad philosophy. You get started on your professional earlier. You get to dial in earlier. So now in your 20s, when you have most energy and you're most eager, you can use this knowledge and learning that you have, focus on getting your business and your industry off the ground. I just think, I kind of think, contradictory to the point I made earlier, I think it kind of it pigeonholes us. It pigeonholes that person. So now they decide this at 12. They've learned only this optometry. Let's just use this profession, 12 to 18 to 19 years old. So now they haven't learned what it might be to be a barista or to record records. They haven't learned any of that because it wasn't part of their upbringing. I think that kind of pigeonholes of kids or people. That's a lifestyle.
So it does a little bit, but at the same time, they haven't made any money yet. So if you wanted to shift, like usually where people get locked into a career is because they start making money and they can't afford to start over. Fair, at this point, yeah, you have that knowledge, but you haven't actually done anything yet.
Yeah, but if you want to go from if you're studying about basket weaving and now you're going to go to book writing, you decide at 21 and you want to write books. Now you're kind of behind the curve because your peers have had that 6-year start on journalism or something, whatever industry we're talking about.
That's no different than going to college and then deciding, hey, you know what? After majoring in this,
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Great point. Great point.
Right. And I look at this, and for instance, and I bring this up pretty frequently, that in Kazakhstan, they have in their high schools, they actually have and I don't know if they go to high school the same way we do here, but where it's different, but they have classes for arm wrestling that you actually learn in high school, and they have and they start very young, even in all like 6th grade, 5th grade, they are learning how to arm wrestle and starting how to arm wrestle and such like that. Mostly because, again, if you come home with a gold medal in any of the major tournaments from Kazakhstan, you are given a large sum of money and a house. So it's part of your living that, hey, if you are good at what you do, you're going to take care of you. And they start this process young because they want to, let's weed you out. If you are going to do this, but it's only a class, that's just a part of that. When I think of the guy from Norway, Holland, who came here, he's done, his father was a soccer player. All he's done all his life is learn how to play soccer. When he got of age, he came over and took one of Ray Lewis's camps to learn how to become a linebacker. He's a big enough boy. He could play American football. Probably wouldn't take him very long because he's got a lot of the moves already and a lot of the footwork down. But he came here specifically to learn how to play linebacker because he felt that some of that movement would actually do him justice in his soccer league. And he's become one of the best soccer players in the world because he doesn't get boxed out. He doesn't get pushed around. He knows how to plant his feet well enough and do that because he learned that from playing football. Now, he took a class outside of his whole realm, but his entire life has been soccer. Yep. You go down into the southern hemisphere towards Australia and New Zealand and those guys, and they are, that's how Jordan Mailata got to the NFL. Yeah. He's been playing rugby since he was 10 years old. So at 18 years old, and he's a monster he's carrying 6 guys on his back as he's running to get a score. Mm-hmm. And, it's like, all right, we're going to put you into the international program. The Eagles are very big on the international program. They like grabbing guys from there, especially if they fall into the category. They usually grab 1 or 2 guys every year because you get certain exemptions for those guys. The guy that they just got from Nigeria, he was out there on the field, made a couple of tackles, and got a sack. That's a big deal for a guy who's never played football before in his life, but is just a specimen. He's just a monster. And, when he got drafted, he told Howie Roseman that he thought he had to walk from Pittsburgh to Philly because he didn't have a ride. And that was the mentality because he's from Nigeria. You know what I mean? He's, they call him the Nigerian Nightmare, and the guy is already putting pads on and making, plays against third stringers. But when he gets a couple tackles and a sack, and this guy's never played football before in his life, and these guys have played football all their lives and trying to make a football team. Well, now, I'm excited about that guy.
Yeah, we can tell.
But it all falls into these categories, I think. I don't mind if you want to learn your trade and try to become an athlete, especially in some of these underprivileged areas. I feel like that's how they feel their way out is sometimes. And so I'm all for that if that's what's going to help them get to a certain level. I don't think that that's a bad thing. Does it hand tie them later in life? Possibly. You know what I mean? But at that point, you have the street skills. That
no, you go to school.
Doesn't necessarily mean that. You're right, but I think that you have
no. You can't say that. You can't say that.
But you have a little bit more life experience.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's maybe a better way of saying that. To be able to figure out how to live the rest of your life afterwards. I feel that like that's what I feel that some of the biggest issues were of the players from the 80s. That there was no emphasis at all on life after football. So you had the whole bunch of these guys and like Junior Seau was one of them and such like that when the game finally passed them by and they couldn't do anything else, they didn't know what to do with themselves. And they wind up very depressed. And ultimately, like in his case, he took his own life. And that's, real sad about that because ultimately he didn't know what else to do.
Sure. I don't know if you can limit that to players. I don't know if you can limit that to just players of the 80s.
I'm using that because
80s, 90s. I'm just saying. I don't think to your point. I understand what you're saying. I'm saying you can't limit that. I don't think you can limit that to.
He was using
just players of the 80s. Again, and I'm saying I don't think you can't use that example. There's cases from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Right. 100%. I mean, it's a gamut. He's just using what he's familiar with.
Exactly, 100%.
Clear. Just trying to clarify.
And there are definitely, and like I said, this road is littered with people similar to that we don't know. Junior Seau's a name that everybody else behind that. There's probably 100 names that I don't know that went through the same path.
There's more.
You're 100%.
I was just say there's more than that.
Yeah, so
hundreds of thousands.
Because they didn't spend the time. They didn't think about that. And when you go back before the 80s, they weren't even getting paid properly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
so it wasn't an aspiration. I don't think pro sports became an aspiration until the money in pro sports in the mid 90s, late to early 2000s.
Mike Schmidt making $1 million a year in 1983.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those guys.
He broke the $1 million mark. He was the first athlete ever to get a contract for $1 million. I mean, and then you go back to as far back as Babe Ruth, where he got paid like $200,000. They said he got paid more than the president. He goes, "Well, I had a better year." You know what I mean? It's so. I mean, it's the owners of these teams have always been the ones trying to make sure that the athletes don't make any money.
Pax, I know you've been studying the WNBA to get ready for when the Philly has their team come in.
Yes.
Are you, when you're doing your study and doing your research, are you thinking about inviting some trans athletes to your Philadelphia Union squad? I mean, are you drafting Enes Kanter or are you going Juju Watkins? Which direction are you going?
I am going to leave that decision to other people.
Yeah,
that's not for me to decide. And the truth of the matter is that I don't get. I hear you, and I don't get a say in this because it's there's no way that I can. I'm not going to. It's not a battle I can fight because I can't. I've not been able to walk a mile in anybody's shoes in that.
Well, and no matter where you try to argue, you look like a bad guy anyway. Like there's not there. That's a no-win scenario.
For who? For Enes Kanter or for who? Who are you talking about? No,
for us on this panel.
I'm a firm believer that the WNBA is able to make its own decisions, and the fact that they put together a panel to determine what a woman was, and they came up with no answer, tells me all that I need to know about this situation.
Exactly. You're excited about watching. What does Philly have a team? Is it the Philly cheesecakes or the Philly cheese melts or what? What are they?
I have no idea. They don't have a name yet, and it's supposed to be 2030. They invested $500 million, and they're going to be getting a team. I have Wanda Sykes, who is somewhat of a neighbor here. Like she doesn't live very close to me, but she lives in the neighborhood that I kind of grew up in, and she's part owner of the team. I have quietly put out different things to try to get her on, be able to see if she would come talk to us about how the progress is moving forward on this, because it's they're waiting on a new arena and things like that. There's a number of different things that are in process before this team gets here.
A new arena. Yeah. The team ain't even played the game yet. You guys want a new arena already?
Well, listen. This goes back to the Sixers, and I don't even want to talk about it like that. I'll be honest with you. It was funny. I was going to bring this up. I mean, other than the fact that LeBron James is going to go win his 6th Man of the Year award coming up, he is also going to be the leading guy in the PGA and have golf tournaments here now in Pennsylvania because he is LeBron James, and he can now invest money in the PGA.
What is he going to put a dome over the golf course? Yeah, I mean, when it gets October to May, they're not playing no golf in Philly.
What are you talking about? Philadelphia region has. I mean, we just had the PGA Championship here. We have when
was the PGA Championship? When was the PGA Championship?
That was in May, June. Okay. June.
I don't know. I'm asking you. You said it just happened. I don't know.
It just happened. I mean, we've had
June. Again, to my point, the weather in Philadelphia is not conducive to golf. So, May.
Well, first off, they do May, June, like anytime from April all the way up until about September. April to September.
Oh, okay. So there's a thin window. Yeah, I don't know that golf is going to take off in Philly in that window there.
I don't know.
Not conducive. The weather's not conducive.
Don't tell. Ironic. That's what they had. Like I said, the PGA Championship here. Marion Golf Course is one of only 2 golf courses in the world that uses wickers instead of flags. The other one being St. Andrews.
No idea what that means.
They have wicker baskets rather than flags. And there's only 2 golf courses in the world that do that.
There might be 2 people that know what you're talking about right now.
St. Andrews. Yeah, that's fine. But listen, golf is like really big in this area. And that's how they have. You got Trout National. That was designed by Tiger Woods and Arnold Palmer. And
my point is not that there's they're only got 6 months to play golf, Pags. That's my point.
That's my point. Playing golf in February. Listen, I tell you, I'm not a golfer.
Who's golfing in February? Yeah, right. In Philadelphia, stop it.
Yeah, they are. Listen, I'm not a golfer, but they're doing it in the cold. They don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
People do it here in the rain, like.
Well, if you don't do anything in the rain here in Seattle, you're not going to be doing anything. You're going to have to get out there in the rain, period. But you don't have a choice. But I'm talking about going to Philadelphia when you can go to Florida or you can go to Arizona for golf.
100%. You are absolutely not choosing Philadelphia as a golf destination.
And that's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making.
Well, you're not doing
PG. But
you're not doing PGA
tournaments
in that's the thing is you're going to do the PGA tournaments in those states that get cold and rain and whatever in the summer, and then you're going to go south just like everybody else. When the weather gets bad, they'll go play in Florida and Hawaii, and of course.
That's why we're not playing spring training up in Cleveland. You know what I mean? We don't do spring training down in Florida and Arizona. Because the weather's better. It's just it doesn't rain as much and such like that.
That was my only point in saying that Philadelphia was not going to become NASCAR. That was my only point in saying Philadelphia is not becoming a golf mecca because LeBron James is coming there because he wants to improve the LP.
It doesn't have to be a golf mecca. All he needs is one tournament a year. He's going to have the LeBron James tournament.
Yeah, and it's going to be during the summer.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you can't. The PGA has been around for a long time, and they definitely want LeBron's money, so they're going to figure out a way to make it a tournament. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
This isn't the waste management, championship where they're throwing beer and stuff like that. This is actually a very big golf area. I think there's, what did they say that in the Philadelphia area, and that includes some of Jersey and stuff like that, they have 4 of the top 10 golf courses in the country. Yeah, I mean, some of these golf courses are like so private and exclusive. It's like you need $250,000 just to be able to become a member to be able to get on the golf course. I tell you, I remember when a couple of years ago they had us do. Jason Kelsey decided he wanted to do the Heckler's Golf, where he had a bunch of us come out there and come heckle on the golf course. And it was the most beautiful golf course. And I said, before we even started, they are never going to have us come back here again.
Oh, for sure.
And they're like, why not? Why wouldn't they have us come back here? I'm like, do you see this golf course? There's no way that they that they consider this even remotely funny. This isn't even funny to them. This is not acceptable. And that was the only year we were there. And that's the way that is, because that's just not that course. And there's lots of courses very similar to that around this area that, will not allow that because they are gorgeous and beautiful and high-end courses.
So I don't really play golf, so I'm not going to any of those. And Cam hates everything Philly, so
it's not. I say nothing about it. I hate Philly. I didn't have that. I think the conversation went another direction. I think I heard somebody say that they were going to make Philly a golf mecca, and I was just refuting
I didn't say golf mecca. I said he was going to have a golf tournament. He's getting in bed with the PGA.
I heard
after winning his 6th man of the year. You heard the 6th man of the year. That's what it was. He's going to win that.
Oh, no, I mean, that's like here in Seattle. They don't do the Boeing Classic in the middle of November. They do it in the summer when it's nice here. Like,
yeah, the 1 month.
we usually get
actually, I'm gonna have to refute you on that one, Pax. It's been beautiful here. I told my mom the other day, it has been a beautiful 2 months here. No rain. It got over 85 a few of those days. I was a little uncomfortable, Pax. I had to take off my sweats and put some shorts on because it got over 85 with a tinge of humidity out here. It's been nice out here, Pax, I must say. Now I know the clouds are coming, but it's been really nice here the last couple months.
No, like if to visit Seattle, if you come in the middle of summer, it is beautiful. If you want to experience every movie ever made about Seattle, come in November. Because it's going to rain the entire month, be windy and cold. And if you want to experience what depression looks like, boom, the weather of November.
Cam, do you ever go shopping at the market? The market that everybody talks about. Do you ever go shopping?
Listen. Let me give you something. Let me give you something about Pike's Place Market. So I grew up here. Obviously, Pike's Place Market is downtown. I never understood. I left Seattle in '91, and Pike's Place Market is massive. It's huge. It's popular. People throwing fish around. Blah 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 blah. But they got everything. They got flowers. They got gifts. They got everything you want. Fish it's a farmer's market. Yeah. Why? I never understood this. Why is a farmer's market? It's the biggest one that I've seen. Downtown Seattle. Nobody lives down there. Well, there's more apartment complexes downtown Seattle than there was when I was living here. But it's out of the way. It's out of the way. Pags, do I go shopping at the market? No. That's out of the way. I don't go downtown. I can stop by hundreds of grocery stores along the way to get to downtown. So no, to answer your question, no. And I never understood how that was so popular, because when I was growing up here, you didn't live downtown. Now I mentioned as regentrification happened, there's more apartments, and a lot of people do have transplants who came out from out of town, live downtown. But that Pike Place Market, Bo, I never understood the popularity of it.
It's a tourist attraction. That's it. Now,
it's a tourist attraction now. It was a fish market. That's where all the fish would come in.
It was a farmer's market. You can get more than fish there. You can get more than fish.
You can now. But originally,
no. It was always a farmer's market. And you got to keep in mind that market was formed when Seattle was 100 years younger. Right. So that was their main trading post. That's also where the port used to be, was close to that. So like those are all things that it's just part of the history of Seattle. And people that live here, we go down there once or twice a year to just kind of do the touristy thing in your own town. But you don't shop there. Like that's where people on cruise ships stop, and people visiting Seattle, because, you're in close proximity to Seattle Center and the Space Needle too. I mean, you're only about a mile away at that point. So, I mean, those are all the little stops that you're taking if you come to the Pacific Northwest. And so, it's always busy because we have an incredible tourism situation here. But people that live here, you don't really shop there because it's a lot of like kitschy stuff. Like you're not going and buying trinkets and tchotchkes every day. Like, and if you do, you have a hoarder house.
I will tell you, interestingly enough, the belt that I wear most of the time with the Eagles belt buckle and stuff like that was a thick leather belt. I wear it just about every day. I got at that market, I want to say 12 years ago. And that belt is, that's one of those old style straps that your papa used to whip your butt with.
Yeah, that's right. Solid leather. we do got to get out of here. Wrapping it up with some spanking. Be sure to like and subscribe. Of course.
Hey, that corporal punishment. I didn't know we were going to talk about corporal punishment today.
Let's go. And of course, we're going to slow it down. If you are listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, we do have some smooth jazz headed your way. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. Cam, I'll see you tonight. Pags, see you tomorrow. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.